yeah.
Oh, you've been deceiving me for all these years?
Oh, well, damn. Gotta wait for
10 more years.
Gotta wait for that. Well, she almost did, because look how long it took you to get out that seat earlier when you had to move some shit. So it ain't gonna be long.
It took me a while to get out the seat.
It took your ass a long time to get out the seat.
I was trying to get around the mic. I was trying to get my mic around the mic.
You mean these that move?
I won't do it secretly. Steve will do it. It's not really secretly.
I'm not doing it secretly either.
I'm not going to do it secretly. I'm not going to check it unless I have a reason. So it still keeps me pretty status quo on what we're talking about now. I'm sure this masochist here beat the shit out of his children when he needed to. But at the same time, he's a nice guy. Let's just call it what it is.
Well, first
of
all,
times a year, he's a nice guy. Christmas, Thanksgiving.
First of all,
but
I don't beat the shit out of my children. I discipline them. All right.
However you want to word it.
Okay. I mean, if you running out, yeah, because I ain't gonna lie, I was doing more like simple knucklehead kind of stuff.
Same
you know
here.
What I'm saying?
Same here.
That
listening to some of the little nigga knuckleheads in the street sometimes. Go home, act like you can put your chest out. My mom will cave your chest in.
Yeah, I mean, I had a smart mouth more than anything, and my mom's knew it.
Some things never change. Though,
yeah, well, I mean, it's better to have a smart mouth than a dumb one, right? That's the way I look at it anyway. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how to take that,
but at least you got some weight coming out of there instead of some dumb shit. Good peoples. What's the haps? What's going on? Here we are once again, the good, the bad, the game. Trying to go ahead and keep this thing going a little bit more quicker, because we tend to slow it up a little bit. But anyway, I'm here with my brother from another mother, my man CJ, and I'm Steve-O. And we just here, just chopping it up, talking about whatever it is that we talk about. Bottom line.
The game.
My man.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, first thing we're going to wind up talking about is I wanted to find out how you feel, and I could already tell that we're going to have a difference in opinion when it comes down to how you do
cell phones with your kids.
Cell phones with the kids, or how you do things with your children or whatever.
Yeah.
One of the questions was, do you secretly check your children's cell phones?
Personally, I don't. And I teach my kids that your cell phone is your sacred privacy, because everybody has a degree of that. But I feel like if my kids was out of pocket for some kind of reason, and I had a reason to check it, I may prompt that. That may prompt me to do it. But so far, I've never done it.
Okay, well, we beg to differ on that. I'm checking the phone anytime I feel good, goddamn ready to, because
you pay for it.
Yeah, pretty much. I pay for it. If I had my way, I know times is changing, but if I had my way, the only person you'd be able to call would be your parents, and that's it, or 911. That's it.
It's very communist.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about communist, but I look at it like, well, first of all, I don't have to secretly check my kid's phone. I mean, when I felt,
what are you looking for when you're checking your kid's phone?
Well, it's okay. Let me give you an example. If now we're talking about, of course, there's going to be a little bit more leeway as they get older. I wasn't for children having cell phones at such young ages till elementary school, but again, times change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel that you're going to be in the supervision of the school.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of that, you're going to be with one of your parents. You're that young of an age, right? But I understand that as they get older and they got activities or stuff like that that's going on after school, especially when it gets to high school, so you got to be a little bit more lenient in your, I guess in your discipline or your strictness when it comes down to the cell phone. My thing is, I don't secretly have to do anything. If I feel that, again, as an example, you're up late at night. Hey, you should be asleep. You got a busy day tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? You got stuff that you got to do. Why are you still on the phone? You ain't telling me nothing. I automatically am thinking, okay, you're on the phone with somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're not. I don't know. Or they shouldn't be calling you. If it is somebody, they shouldn't be calling you after a certain hour, right? Okay. And if I ask you and you're telling me, oh, nothing and all this other kind of junk, I'm not going to secretly, I'm going to be, give me your phone. If you got a password, give me the password, open it up, and I'm going to take a look. And I'm going to see what's going on right in front of you and say, hey, I told you not to have this thing on. If I have to, I'll take the phone at night. I'll take the phone and be like, okay, I'll give it back to you in the morning. You should be sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, am I going to be strict and instill some discipline? Yeah, that's exactly how it's going to go down. And do I feel a certain kind of way about it as far as privacy? Hell no. That's just me.
Well, what if your kid is not staying up and not doing any of that stuff? Would you just randomly check your kid's phone too and lose
Probably.
trust?
Probably would. I don't know.
Just because you can.
I don't know if I would lose trust. I don't know if it would be. I think that it would be something that they would be used to.
But don't you trust your upbringing that your kid is not going to do something so racy that it'll be on the phone that it'll
yeah, I would
possibly get in a dad's hand? And
I would trust that, but again, as the kids get older, I'm not the only one they listening to. Okay, they get with friends or they get with people, and you got people outside of the household that I don't know, maybe somebody they admire. I don't know, but I'm not the only one that they listening to. So yeah, I would still do my little spot checks.
I do understand that halfway, but I'm not the type that's going to check if there's nothing there, if there's nothing that's prompting me to check. At the same time, if I get a buzz or something hits me that maybe I should check my daughter's phone, yeah, I'll go check it. But I'm going to trust in the system. And I guess you could say maybe because of my last kid, I gave her a phone at 10. And I said, okay, it's getting ready to go all downhill now.
I would say that.
And it never did. It never did. And so therefore, I never really bothered her about her phone. Plus, when she wanted to show me stuff, she'd literally give me the phone and let me, whatever.
Yeah.
So I had that trust with her.
Kids
bring in context.
The kids are going to do what they want to do.
If it was my oldest daughter and she was a kid in this situation, this same day and age, doing the same thing, I know I had to check her damn phone.
Why?
Because she's a wild girl.
Why?
She's different. she's not like my baby. She's a lot different. She was she was trying me. You had a kid that tried you.
Yeah.
She was trying me. So,
all right.
But
so you would wait until there's a reason to check.
I'm gonna trust in my upbringing. Like, don't let this phone get you in trouble. Do not do nothing that if I find it on the phone, that's gonna piss me off.
Okay,
that's part of my initial speech.
Understood. I believe the question was, would you secretly check your children's phone? And it was basically it was on middle ground. And I got to give shout out to Jubilee because their topics of if you haven't, and I'm just gonna put a plug in real quick. Yes, I have no affiliation with this podcast, but I strongly suggest.
I agree
that if you want to listen in or check out some topics
that are going on in the world today,
yes,
and that are thoroughly covered,
yes,
you go to Jubilee.
You got to go to Jubilee, and you got to check out Middle Ground. Some of the conversations that these guys are talking about, I'll be like, man, I kind of wish I was on the panel to sit down there.
I don't.
Why not?
Actually, if you was on the panel, it give us even more to look at because you're such a belligerent soul.
Yeah, and I could see I would be on this side over here, and you would be on the other side over there.
I would be on the side with you, but we'll be infighting on the same side.
I'll be like, I don't know why you had to pick this seat.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know why you.
Why don't you go there? like the one guy and one of the things we're gonna do today? Why don't you go on the other side? Because you clearly don't belong over here.
But But I guess it's got to do with how you was raised, and you got to remember that we're in the time frame that our kids aren't raised. I'll put it like this: I ain't gonna say raised. They're not. They don't have to grow up like we had to grow up. All right, we didn't have all of the technology. All right, when the way I grew up and the way you grew up too. Once you inside the home, you inside the home. You're cut off. You're cut off from everybody on the outside. The only way they're getting in contact with you is if they yelling at the window, "Yo, Steve! Yo, Steve!" Yeah, I can't come out right now, man. I want punishment. Yo, stop calling my name and whatnot. If she hear me at the window, I'm in more trouble. You know what I'm saying? So we grew up like that. You know, these days, these kids are in their room and they
on the phone.
They shelter themselves. They lock themselves. If they had their way, they lock their door.
Yeah, my mom gets on my nerves. She don't want to let me go out.
I
was supposed to go to the party with you all last night.
They in there shitting on us like a mug, right? They in there shitting on us like, yeah, I'm still gonna go to that party. They don't know. I know what time they go to sleep. Yeah, I'm gonna sneak on out of there and whatnot. You know, and that's when we grew up with the modern age. Also, that's when we got houses that tell on them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you think you're gonna slide out that door without saying front door open?
Or you live on the first floor and they go out the side bedroom window. You just lock that motherfucker.
You just lock it back. Lock it back. Cats ain't getting back in. Yeah, you're gonna have to see me now. Yeah, you know. And I'm losing sleep because I'm supposed to be sleeping in order to go to work the next day.
Talking about mama.
So we definitely we kind of disagree. We kind of disagree, but not really, because I think you wait for something to pique your interest to make you say, "Hey, something going on. Let me check this and see what's happening."
And you do preventive maintenance.
And me, I'm like more preventive. Like, yo, what's going on? Yo, what's happening? Yo, let me see your phone. You don't know when it's coming. Yo, you don't know when it's gonna happen.
I mean, I could see the merits in that, but I'd like to be able to put the onus on my child and just trust them and let them know that I trust them, and let them know how disappointed I would be if they if they
I ain't gonna lie, yo. I maybe I got a warped way of thinking, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, people out there, good people, but I don't know. I have a strange feeling of being responsible until after they hit a certain age, which I am no longer responsible for them.
That's when they leave your house, right?
Oh, yeah, usually, right when let me tell you something. When they get to a certain age, when they ready to leave the house because they don't want to follow rules no more. Mm-hmm. They don't want to follow the rules. And you turn around and you be like, well, hey, you could do all of that stuff you want to do, just not here.
Not on my dime, not on my time, just and not in my place.
Right. You can't do it here. So you can do it wherever you plan on living. Mm-hmm. But until then, you're going to be talking to your friends.
What's that? Say that. You even said that earlier off camera. When you're in my house, what's that? Go ahead and say it. You got to follow the rules.
Yeah, you follow the rules of the household. That's it. Now, if you don't like the rules of the household, then you can go get your own house. And then you can follow your own rules. Right. You know what I'm saying?
While you here, I don't care if you're 50.
Right.
You got to follow my rules.
So we kind of, like I said, we're a little on the fence with that.
I'm just not as much of an asshole as he is.
Hey, somebody's got to be one. You know what I'm saying?
He said, give me your phone. You just come from the prom. You had a good night.
You trying to be that uncle that everybody like?
Let me see your phone.
He trying to be that uncle that everybody like. Is that what it is?
I don't even want to be liked. I just want to trust my child.
I mean, I'm not saying me checking doesn't mean that I don't trust them. Me checking means that I'm interested in whatever it is that they're doing.
Why don't you check the schoolwork then?
I do that too.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah. Oh, you check the schoolwork. Okay. All right. Okay.
School,
how you check the schoolwork and you don't even know how to answer the questions? What are you talking
No,
about?
you know how the school sends you the website. You can check the grades and everything. As long as I see my babies getting good grades and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. When they getting A's, I ain't gonna lie, I make it hard for you to go ahead and be like, yo, let me check your phone
I
because
can, yeah.
you know they getting A's.
Now you see it the way I see it.
Well,
Because when I told you, when I gave her the phone
well,
at 10, I felt like, oh, she gonna fuck up now. I
Well-
know she gonna fuck up now, and she never did.
I don't know. She could be real ingenious, real smart,
And that's
real,
true too.
You know,
And if she is,
Could be a level
I
of
hope it
slickness.
Stays, I hope it stays that way long enough to when she tells me how ingenious and slick she was, I'm able to handle it.
you should
Because
be
if
able
she
to
tell
handle
me
it.
if she tell me that shit now, I wouldn't be able to handle it.
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh, you've been deceiving me for all these years.
Oh well, damn! Gotta wait for
10
you.
more years or
Gotta wait for that. Well, she almost did because look how long it took you to get out that seat earlier when you had to move some shit. So she might. It ain't gonna be long. If
It took me a while to get out the
It
seat.
took your ass a long time to
I
get
was
out
trying
the
to
seat.
get around
yo.
the mic. I was trying to get my mic around the mic.
You mean these that move? Okay,
I moved it a
Alright,
little
yeah,
bit.
Okay, well,
But I
anyway.
had it positioned strategically, and I wanted to stay
She ain't
there.
gotta wait long. so, so yeah, but I think what our next deal is that we got since we're talking about these guys. What was the other?
Okay,
It's the
y'all.
one that we were
we
just talking
just
about.
finished talking about
No.
would you check your child's phone, you know, unbeknownst to the child or what have you. And both of us are alphas, so we wouldn't check our child's phones against their will, but one of us will check our child's phone because he wants to. But me, I give my child the benefit of the doubt until I have a reason, and then I'll check my child's phone if I have a reason. If I don't have a reason, I won't check it. But that being said, I want to lead you into a video that talks about the same thing. And I want to thank you guys for listening to us because this is good stuff.
Welcome back to Middle Ground. My name is John, and I am a dad. And so I'm looking forward to moderating today's discussion between strict parents and free-range parents.
You're free
I've
range.
secretly checked my kid's phone. Will the
Don't
agree or step
secretly
forward?
check. Shit, I'm not free range.
Hello.
Yes, I have.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it doesn't become a secret because they are aware at one point in time. I'm going to check just because I know how I am as a human, just the same.
'Cause you're an
Like
asshole.
if I can get away with something, perhaps I may just do that said thing. So I just want to be mindful, and I don't know what they're exposed to. I think we know that society is the way that it is, and I don't want them to fall into some sort of circumstance because I didn't monitor what I needed to look at within their phone or because you don't know what people are saying to them in addition to what they're saying out.
Yep.
And I just want to be
Exactly.
So it's
raw
okay
and
for you to be
unfiltered.
sneaky,
What's
but
really
not
going
them.
on, and then we'll have a conversation. But do I check it in frequency without them being aware? No. But
No,
there have been
see?
instances
That's
where
what
I'm
she
like,
just said.
Frequency doesn't matter. You're
How
checking
old
it
are
in
your kids?
They're
secrecy.
9
No,
and they're
she's not.
13.
They're 9 and 13,
And they're both boys.
She
they're
just
both
said
boys.
no.
They both have a phone?
They both have a phone. They do. And I think the instance is, well, I'm certain of it. The decision to get them a phone was, there's a lot of fighting in school. And fighting to not just, I don't agree with you, guns. And I couldn't always be sure that the school, because I work in a school, so I know the length of time it takes to process and connect with the parents. There's been instances where there's been a gun brought on school or children, like somebody has broken into the school and it's 3 or 4 hours later from the circumstance. What could have happened in that time that my kids didn't communicate with me because I was not aware? So they have a phone because of that.
We handed our kids phones and said, "This is ours, and we will check it." And it's a safety measure. It's a what are you looking at? You were handing them a supercomputer. Mm-hmm. It's devastating.
no
It's
reason.
scary.
You're
Like, you have
handing
no
them
idea. So we have,
communications
we have-
outside of the
I have
home.
an 18-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 13-year-old. She'll be 14 soon. And so for my oldest, when he was 16, he actually went through this like really terrible season of depression. And so his phone was being checked daily to make sure that he was okay, that he was kept safe, and that we knew where his head was at, because that was like safety. And then as he got better and was coming out of that season, it just got less and less. One, it honestly makes me very anxious to check his phone because you don't know what you're gonna find. My middle kiddo, he's very private and he does not want his phone checked. And so we say, don't give us a reason to check it. Like, it's fine. And one of the things that we will do is we'll sit like all together on the couch and kind of scroll TikTok together so I can see like what's your algorithm feeding you. And then my daughter, she has a
Sneaking.
she has something on her phone that helps
She's
that alerts us if there's bullying, profanity, just any sort of things, like it'll send us an alert saying, hey, your daughter's phone has like this text message on it, and it actually screenshots it for us and lets us go through it. And then it says like, here's
didn't have
helpful
that.
ways to have a conversation about bullying on the internet and stuff like that. So really and truly ours is just like, it's a safety precaution, and we have needed to use it. And then as our kids have gotten older, like our 18-year-old, we were kind of like, we're not going to check it unless you give us cause, like unless we have
There you
to.
go.
At what age did you
I
decide to
agree.
give your kids a phone?
So we had friends who gave us great advice, and it was you and your spouse, partner, whatever, want to get a hold of your student or your child 3 times separately. So once you hit that, you're like, oh shoot, I wish I could text them. I need to let them know this. 3 times each of you, so 6 times total. It was like, it's time to get a phone. And that really was middle school for us, when they were like catching buses or after school practice, or I need to stay late for tutoring, that kind of thing. That's kind of when
Start
we
having
really got
activities
Communications,
outside
yeah.
of the school.
Yep. And safety. I think
And
you're absolutely right.
safety.
Safety in school is
Yeah.
really important, to have that kind of communication. And then our daughter got one a little bit younger, but that's because she was in a school that was farther away. She had transportation time, so she was just able to like play games on her iPad.
The exposure you can get from the internet, and then I'm like, oh, well, I have to be sure of what's going on with my son, because depression and all those things have
Yeah.
to be
What
considered.
was the age you chose?
I think my youngest was, 8, and my eldest was 10.
Let's bring in our
I would think
disagreeers.
that was too young myself. My wife went on ahead and got them
I got my
phones.
daughter,
disagreed at
she's
first,
29, the oldest one. She got a phone when she was about 7 or 8 because we lived in Manhattan during 9/11. And she didn't have a phone, and she was in grade school. And we couldn't get to her. The towers are coming down, we're trying to get to her, and I was like, that'll never happen again. So we got her a phone, and we had this rule that don't make me have to check it. If I have to check it, then there's gonna be consequences. But when I hear you guys talking about that, every kid who came over to my house had a way to get around what you guys are talking about. And if they didn't, their friend did. So I think building that trust with your child that, don't make, like, I was that parent of, yeah, I want you to have privacy, but I will take the door off the hinges if I think something's going on.
I would say if you've given your kid a phone at 8 years old or 10 years old, you're not a strict parent because you do not have control. If you think you have control, you don't have control.
You have 8 kids, right?
I have 8 kids. My oldest is 14. My youngest is turning 2. So
It's
we're now
clear he doesn't have
not
control.
a single
He got
phone in
8
the house
kids.
because
Right.
here's the deal. So that sounds strict, right? No, because free range is about setting boundaries and having the kids operate freely within the boundaries. Our boundary is you don't have phones. When I get to the point where my kid needs to have a phone, I sure as heck better trust what they're going to do on that phone because I have no control over it. My point is that, we frame out these reasons why our kids have to have phones. I'm concerned about the school shooter. I need to know about that. I need to hear from them in football. My kids don't have a phone, and they are better for it because they have to learn how to operate. They have to learn how to problem solve without it.
Will you
right?
when they start driving, will you give them a phone?
We may have a car phone that is a very simple phone, but they will not have a personal phone. But for
When's
things.
when's the age?
Well, driving would be the first time we would even discuss it because of the fact if I get stuck on the side of the road, there are not institutional measures anymore to help that.
Right.
But everything else, my kid goes on a field trip. I hear this one all the time. My kid goes on a field trip. They need to have their phone. The teacher's got a phone. Why the heck does your kid need a phone?
I mean, I think it's just interesting to say, in the event that
I
a
don't
thing
agree with
happens,
that.
they could problem solve. There are many instances, especially with CPI or
agree with
like
that.
disciplinary. There's in classroom,
Communication.
there are instances to where your problem solving is very limited as a teacher and as a student. And my children, I don't want them to not be equipped or given any sort of option. Mom, I am in a dangerous situation. I cannot navigate this. I need this support.
So I have a 11-year-old
I don't agree
daughter.
with the
She got
teacher
phone when
having
she
a
was
phone.
9,
Why does your kid
and
need
we only
one?
decided to get the
And I'll
phone
talk
because
about
that was
that
the time
later.
that we decided that it was time for her to move with her dad and spend some time with her dad. Now, she had tablets and stuff, that one at his house, one at my house, and so my concern was whenever she was at his house, if he took the tablet away from her or if they were out for a long period of time, I couldn't get a hold of her.
Raise your hand when we're at the age that you think it's appropriate to have a phone in today's context. So let's start with age 5. Age 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
That's
12.
middle school, right?
I know.
13,
5th, 6th,
14.
7th grade.
15,
we can jump up to 16.
and 16.
You know,
okay, so
Ray,
that was our range.
Not to jump in real quick, but if you want to, we can also talk about, because I was looking at that panel and I remember the one when they talked about how they discipline their children and how they spank them and all that. And the one lady that I agree with is the one that don't spank her child. So it still keeps me pretty status quo on what we're talking about now. I'm sure this masochist here beat the shit out of his children when he needed to. But at the same time, he's a nice guy. Let's just call it what it is.
Well,
Couple
first of
times
all,
a year, he's a nice guy. Christmas,
First of
Thanksgiving.
all,
But
I don't beat the shit out of my children. I discipline them. All right.
however you want to word it.
Okay. I mean, if you running out and doing shit like you on 300, this is Sparta shit. I'm like, I ain't gonna say on that. That ain't how I do it. All right. I discipline the child. Right. All right. So anyway, the next video. But what's the next video we talking about? Spanking, and whether it's spanking children. Okay. Well, let's just check out what Jubilee and on the middle ground panel got to say when it comes down to
4 to 5 days consistently.
children. Yeah.
And when I tell
Spanking the
you,
kids and whatnot.
literally my gut
Because they need some discipline. I don't care what you
spanked
say.
my child. Will the agreeers please step forward?
Agree. Girls as much as my boy.
Didn't have to spank my girls at all. They haven't gone to jail yet.
Well, I can say,
They're all educated.
when my kids were younger, I came from a household where, you didn't ask questions. My dad, wait till your dad gets home. And I would say when my kids were younger, I'm 57 now and I have kids in their mid-20s. And when they were younger, I did spank them. It wasn't a thing of I wouldn't say abuse, but it was a thing of spanking, don't touch that pot, maybe smack a little bit on the hand or something like that. Because I feel like when they're younger, they have to kind of fear you a little more than what they're going to get into. As they got older, I used my words more so than, spanking.
Right.
I think that's absolutely normal
Go to
because we have to
the level where they're at.
establish safety first, and then as they grow, you're able to communicate more. And I think that's exactly how we've raised our kids. There's a little bit of spanking that moved to the quick adjustments of a hand slap or the sassy little flick, oh, you can't say that, that's not kind, or that not.
My mom was a pinch.
Yeah, pinch. Something. Those little things, right? Those fast-moving,
Yeah.
But then as they get
It's all
bigger, you
about
have
tone.
the conversations.
They ain't
got
gotta
to
beat my kids to get their
a
ass
life or
spanked.
death situation. It's we can all calm
I'm
down.
not
and
beating
have a
nobody
conversation
else's
about
kid
it.
because I don't want
I
nobody
think
beating
so much
my
of this
kids.
conversation is about
Your kids won't
fundamentally
do
child
anything to get
development,
spanked.
right? A kid is never the same.
My kids ain't gonna
from
let
the
nobody
time they're
spank
2
them
years
without
old to
letting
the
me
time
know.
They're 10 years old to the time they're 18.
spanking the shit out of
And there
you.
are different strategies that you're going to implement in parenting at different ages. So it just makes sense.
For me, it seems like it stopped for all 3 of my kids. I have a baby now that's 13 months old that hasn't been spanked. But I've stopped about 5 because the spanking is intentional and it's for a very specific consequence, like this articulated. So it's not just for anything that they do wrong. It's like this is what capital punishment is in our home.
I agree with that.
And so
5.
they don't
5, okay.
break those rules anymore. Like
What are some
thing that's
examples?
So the capital punishment in our home is if they are disrespectful to me or their mother.
Right.
And anything else is another consequence. This is how I've done it. But that is articulated. They know it. When they get spanked, it's not emotional. I'm not mad at them. I sit down and explain,
Yeah.
why you're getting spanked.
Don't be
I
mad
do.
when you discipline
I
your
don't want to
children.
do this. I hate this, but this is the consequence.
What's funny though is with the disrespect, we used what we called sassy sauce, which is just apple cider vinegar.
I drink that on the regular.
Instead of spanking, and I have 2 older boys and a younger daughter, so my boys were like, I don't want sassy sauce, and I was like, then you need to apologize for how you're treating me and how you're speaking. So a little sassy sauce goes a long way.
Let's bring in our disagreeers. You want to start us off?
Well, I was just wondering how many of you were spanked as kids? So I was never spanked. I was threatened, and my mom would I remember she would come up to my room with a metal spatula and put it on my dresser when I was supposed to be in bed and say if I have to come up again, I'm going to use it. Never hit me. To me, I was just taught it was wrong to hit people, anyone. Never mind someone that you're supposed to love the most, you know. So the thought of hitting a child to me makes me sick.
Can I ask you if your mom was putting things on the table saying don't make me use it, but you never saw her use it, as you got older, did you ever look at it and be like, she's not going to do it, and then you would still do things?
Maybe.
I think that kind of connects with what everybody has mentioned thus far. Like you mentioned child development, you mentioned kind of how you grew up. How I grew up, I got spanked like 5 times because I got it. But my sister, well, people in my family, it was every day. They're the ones, as you know, they've reached adulthood, who are the most problematic ones. So I understood at that time, I'm like, oh, this is not the way to like administer the appropriate correction and or the discipline, because I could see you guys and you got it like from 0 to 50 and like nothing has been beneficial for you. So it's just like how I parent my children, but children are different. So not like you're mentioning that suffice for you, like you saw it and you're like, okay, but some kids are like, run it, let's go. Like I'm gonna challenge that spoon to the very end of it. So then you have to build relationship, and relationship allows you to know how to have conversation, how to present the thing to the child.
That's when you need your man
the way I
around.
consider the parenting with spanking. As a teacher, we have to navigate how to have that expectation fulfilled, and we can't do that. So then it helps me as a parent be like, well, how do I like develop my parenting skills, considering I'm a teacher?
It wasn't that long ago.
Don't
where spanking
tolerate no
was common in the
challenges from your
classroom,
child.
Not just with parents. Is
sorry.
anybody here in support of it extending beyond just the parental role?
I've got an actually interesting story. So my old man was in the military. I grew up all over the place, and my freshman year of high school, I was in Alabama. We had got in trouble, me and my buddies, for our substitute teacher. And the next day he came in, he had a list of names that had been bad in class, and I was on that list with a few of my Southern buddies. And so he said, you guys got 2 options. I can call your parents, or you can go down with me to the principal's office and get paddled. I didn't want to be the kid that was like, no, call my parents. So I was like, yeah, I'll take a paddle too. And he took us down to the principal's office, and he was a big corn-fed boy with his own custom-made paddle, and he gave us 2 hard-ass whoops on our ass in front of the principal. And I gotta say, it was makes for a great story, but I never acted up for a substitute ever again.
Males too, or just the.
I was a substitute.
I
I've seen
never
that.
saw anybody else in the
Right.
school get paddled.
I remember specifically, it was, I don't know how young, but the teacher made me put my hands out like that and took a ruler.
Yep.
Like, bop, bop. And I remember thinking in my head, I don't even think I told my parents because I thought I would get in trouble for getting in trouble. But I remember feeling so disrespected, and I didn't feel that with my parents. Like I knew when I did something like, and my dad said, like I said, I'm gonna spank you, or my mom might have like gave a slap or something. I was doing something. But for this teacher, someone else to do that to me,
Well,
I
you
remember
felt like you were
thinking,
ashamed, right?
yeah, I felt like,
was it public, like in front of the
and I
rest of the
couldn't do
kids?
anything, and I felt like, how dare you?
Gentle parenting leads
Alright.
to weak.
So
What was that? Gentle parenting leads to weak kids? Yes.
you want to talk about that?
I think so. Do you? We can just put 5 minutes into this real quick. You have to have a schedule or something to have them where they have to exercise discipline. And discipline doesn't mean weakness. Discipline means being able to do things in a timely fashion that you really need to do. And it doesn't have to be a forceful thing. It just has to be a disciplinary thing.
Well, remember, just because we're talking about one particular topic doesn't mean that this is all we know. All right. So if you're talking to a person like me, for instance, yeah, I'm gonna whoop that ass. You know what I'm saying? If it's warranted, I'm gonna
You
whoop that ass.
start with
right?
that and
Okay.
you finish with that.
I'm saying I'm gonna whoop that ass
It's not
if
good.
warranted, right?
It's abuse.
But on the same tip, I gotta be cognizant in order to know. Am I saying that right? Cognizant.
Cognizant.
Yeah, cognizant. I gotta be. Is that right? I don't know. Okay.
Cognizant.
All right. I gotta know whether it's working anymore, because you're doing it for a reason. All right. I gotta
How
know
are
if
you
it's
gonna
working.
know? How
Huh?
are you gonna know?
Because you can tell after a while. Just like when I was growing up, I remember one time. I think it was about 14. 14 is the last time my mother actually put her hands on me. All right. And my mother was telling me something. She said, I told you, and telling me stuff. I'm standing right in front of her, and she smacked me. Right? And all I did,
The price to see
Hold up.
that would have been unlimited.
well, you'll never see it. So you will go to your grave not knowing what it's like for me to get smacked. All right?
It's all right. I got the visual.
Please understand.
I got the visual.
All right? So I turned and just looked at her. Because I'm not hitting my mom's back. That's not happening, right? But
would've
at that
came out of
moment,
nowhere
but
and
at
kicked
that
your ass
hold up,
myself
but
if
at
you
that
hit your mama
moment,
back.
at that moment, my mother knew. She said, "You know what? This isn't working anymore like that. Now I have to really go on ahead and make sure that he understands because I'm at that point where I'm doing things because I want to do them." And she went on ahead and she started thinking, and we sat down and discussed this. She said, "I knew right then and there that you respect me, and the whippings ain't doing nothing for you." So she knew I was listening. So she just would talk to me. Same way you go on ahead and you tell kids as they, to their level of understanding as they get older. You don't have to whoop them all the time. Now it's a matter of telling them. Sometimes you don't even have to tell them. Sometimes you just give them a good look. You
I
know?
want to say this. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
for a
you're not
second.
sorry to interrupt.
I
And he still,
honestly,
as he continues to
no,
talk.
I just want to say this
As you
because
can-
we're right in this moment,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna give it right back. I'm gonna hand
Looking
it
to the
right back
moment.
to you.
Okay.
I knew I was gonna get a whipping, and I did shit. I already dismissed the whipping to do what the fuck I wanted to do. Now, granted, the whippings got worse,
As they should. With your
but
hard-headed ass.
I said the only thing that's gonna happen is I'm gonna get my ass beat. I'm good with that.
Well,
And that's not, I'm not proud of that, but yeah, that's what I did because I just wanted to do it. I felt like I was more advanced than my mom at the time.
after a certain point, after, we get to certain ages, it's like, look, I'm still responsible for you. If I'm not responsible for you no more and you grown adult and whatnot, go do whatever you want to do and you could go ahead and handle the consequences behind your actions after that.
I mean, I was
All
like
right.
14, my brother.
You was a little badass, sorry, you know what? Mom,
God bless me
Mom,
with 3 beautiful girls.
Mom, yes. God did. Mom, and I'm talking to your mother. Mom, let me apologize for the way he used to act.
I'm gonna make my mom watch this too.
For the way he used to act. You were right, and I want to apologize. If you hadn't heard it from him, and if he hasn't said it by now,
She already
because
knows.
he's a hard.
She will tell you.
He should have told you this a long time ago that you was right, and he apologizes for all the stuff that he was doing.
I did apologize.
Did
to her.
apologize?
I mean, I gave my mom headaches, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I can imagine. So what I'm saying is that these, after a while, you gotta let them sink sometimes. Sometimes you go ahead, you
That's
tell them
when
something.
they get closer to the grown age.
Yeah, when they start getting closer to grown age. Because when they get grown, after they get grown, it's like, okay, you ask for advice, I give you advice. It's up to you whether you want to take it or not. You don't take it, then you come back, and you in another pickle, and I'm like, and you're telling me this why? You want me to give you some more advice that you're not gonna listen to, or you just feel like venting? What is it?
I want to say something that will probably piss off a lot of people when they hear it.
Well, shit,
But
that's no surprise.
We are. Well, I'm not gonna say all black parents, but parenting in my home was in a fashion where, because my father wasn't around for a large part of the time, my mom bailed me out of a lot of situations. Mm-hmm. Had my father been there, like I was there for my daughter, I wouldn't have bailed them out of some of them situations so they can figure it out. Mm-hmm. And that's parenting. Mm-hmm. And because of that, when I look back on it and the shit that I did to really upset my mom, it was pretty fucked up. My kids never did none of that to me, although my mom promised me I was going to get that back. Mm-hmm. But I didn't have a boy. I had girls who was not scared of me, but they respected me. So when I got a pitch in my voice that sounded like I was angry, which I'm a normally happy person, it threw them off, and they didn't want that. They didn't want that. So,
okay. I understand that. Yeah.
So looking back on it, I kind of tortured my mom because I know she didn't ask for all this bullshit when she had me.
Yeah. And that's why you apologized already, though, right?
I did.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm gonna let her see this I'm gonna let her see this so she know. You know, I said it to my brother over here, my brother from another mother, who did his mom wrong too on some level, but she fucked him up.
Yeah, my mom's pretty much had hands like Joe Louis, yo. I mean, them Joe, like that smack I was telling you about, yeah, that shit came out of nowhere, yo. I'm standing right there in front of her, yo. I swear. I think the hand came up, smacked me, and went back down, and I didn't even know that it moved. That's how quick it was. So, yeah. So I'm, you know, them days, is like, hey, yeah, cause I ain't gonna lie, I was doing more like simple knucklehead kind of stuff.
Same
you know
here.
What I'm saying?
Same here.
That
Listening to some of the little nigga knuckleheads in the street sometimes.
You know?
Go home, act like you could put your chest out. My mom will cave your chest in.
yeah, I mean, I had a smart mouth more than anything, you know, and my moms knew it.
Some things never change. Though,
Yeah, well,
right?
you know, I mean, it's better to have a smart mouth than a dumb one, right? That's the way I look at it anyway. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how
At
to
least
take
you got-
that,
At
but
least
I'm
you got,
gonna
at least,
assume that
hey, at
wasn't
least you got
for
some
me.
wit coming out of there instead of some dumb shit.
Oh,
you
you're
know?
with it. You're with it on
Hey,
fleek.
I'm just gonna say this one thing. I remember I came home one time. My mom's was like this. She said, "Yo, your teacher called you," and I was like this. She said, "Guess what? Guess what she had to say?" And I went like this. That I was an excellent student in class today. And she went like this. See? That's the reason why I'm gonna tell your father you're gonna get your ass whooped tonight, because that mouth of yours is always getting you in trouble. And I was like, "Yo." So,
Damn,
I'm
I
just
think
saying,
your father and my father might have been the same person.
they probably was at the, well, my pops didn't drink, but they probably was at a spot and it was like, "Hey, yo, Clarence, I gotta go." Cause that's my pop's name, right? "Yo, Clarence, I gotta go. But that damn little son of mine, I gotta, you know."
Go tear his ass up tonight.
Okay, I'm
Oh,
sorry. But
man.
anyway, I don't know if you want to get into that gentle parenting leads to weak kids.
I think that smart parenting leads to smart kids. I mean, smart parenting is putting the onus on your kids to the best of your ability without putting too much on them. Meaning that you expect certain things from them and you don't expect them to do bad things just because people around them are doing bad things. Mm-hmm. And you got to teach them that way. And that's the way I teach my. And it was easy. I'm gonna be honest. It was easy because I had 3 girls.
I honestly think that a lot of stuff that you do, if they want to go their way, they're gonna go their way. And I really feel that it doesn't make a difference what it is that you tell them.
There's
or whatever you
always
say to
a
them.
caveat. There's always a caveat or something that happens that can throw them off. Mm-hmm. Now, their ability to recover at the age that they may recover, if it happens at 15 or 14, it just sets them up for the rest of their life in a way.
I just feel like at times they're gonna want to do what they want to do. My thing is, you can do what you want to do. You're just not doing it here.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
I kind of teach my kids to be independent, but at the same time, you got to follow the rules of this house.
you gotta follow.
while
You
you're
gotta
here.
follow the rules of the house, and that's it. And I tell you right now, I know when I was coming up, I couldn't wait to be on my own, but I also knew that in order for me to be on my own, there's certain things you got to do. My mom sat me down one time. I'm gonna go another story real quick, right? Mom sat me down, right? You know what I'm talking about. My mom's all the time, right? Mom sat me down, and she said, "Okay, so what you want? Get me an apartment." "Oh, how much you gonna pay for the apartment?" I was like $400 a month. Yeah, I'm talking shit. Like, I think this is what it is. Now, remember you, I'm in middle school, so I'm like, what, 12 years old? $400. She's like, "Okay, what you gonna do? You got, you got to have a job for that. How much you gonna get paid?" $21,000 is what I'm gonna get paid. You know what I'm saying? Now, remember, this is 70. 76, 70,
Yeah,
77, 77 or something like, 77, 78, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, I'm $21,000. So she put that at the top, right? And then she put down how much you got to get back and forth to work. Yeah. She's like, "Well, yeah, I'm going to have me a Firebird Trans Am." stick. I said, stick. She was like, a stick? You know how to drive? I got the theory. I got the theory. How much you gonna pay for that? I'll probably pay about, because I want to kid it out, probably about $600. $600, right? Then she said, oh, okay, so what you gonna do when you get your place and whatnot? You gonna want some furniture or something like that? Oh, yeah. I'm gonna go all out. I'm gonna pay probably about $800 for my living room set, bedroom set, and all this, right? She marking it down, right? So then she turned around and she said, well, you got to eat on something, right? I said, yeah. I'm going to have some plates and all that. Plates, utensils, cups, and all of that.
She tearing you up.
I'm giving her all the answers. She ain't giving me no answers. She just asking the questions. And because I'm talking like I know what I'm doing. I'm giving her the answers.
Enlighten you while you are still talking shit.
I'm just giving her. She just writing stuff down. You gotta have some clothes to wear to go to work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, how much you gonna? No. First she said you gotta have some groceries. What you gotta eat, right? And I was like, yeah. I'm gonna go to grocery store. I'll probably do about like
20 ramen noodles.
No, I said I'm probably gonna do like, I don't know, like $50 a week, right? And she said, oh, okay, so there's 4 weeks in a month. She said, oh, so you're going to do like 200. 200, yeah. Put that down there, right? Put that. You got to have clothes to go to.
His mom set him up.
Ties, right? She going down the list and writing, all the way down there. All the way down to the end, right? And then she looked at it and she was like, I need to tell you.
You was the youngest. You was the youngest.
No, I'm the middle child.
But you was the only boy.
I was the only boy, right? So
she gave you a lesson for life.
I remember it to this day. I was in the fucking hole, It was negative, right? And I was like this. She said, oh, I forgot to tell you. You know that the utilities part, that actually happens every month, right? She said that happens every month. What you gave me was how much you gonna make for the year. But this part right here happens every month. And I was like, huh? She said, yeah, so you're gonna be in negative.
His mom straight fucked with him.
After that, changed my whole way of thinking, right? After that, I was like, she said, wow, looks like you're gonna need to get a better job. She said, how you gonna do that? And I went like this. Now, at this point, I ain't cocky as shit no more, right? At this point, I'm like this. I'm really thinking like, Dad, I guess I'm gonna have to get me a better job. And she was like, what? How you gonna make somebody pay you more money? And I was like this. I guess I'm gonna have to be worth it. And she's like, how you gonna be worth it? And I was like, man, I'm gonna have to do pretty good in school. And she was like this. She said, yeah, you probably gonna have to. And I was like this. Changed my whole way of thinking.
Mom shut him down.
You know why? Because she said, when she hit 18, you ain't living here no more. I was like, changed my whole deal. I was like, after that, that was my quick story. After that, I was like, my way of thinking totally changed,
My mom did the same thing to me, told me that I can't live there after 18. I went to college. I got my own little dormitory. And I said, I don't want to live here. And the summer came. She said, where you going for the summer? I said, well, I'm coming home for the summer. She said, where's your home? She said, where's your home? I said, there. And she said, no, you don't have no home. Remember when you said you leave, you're done. You don't have no home. And then she left it at that. This was in October of that year.
Uh-huh.
And then she sent me a fucking basket of fruit and a thing that said, good luck on your finals, right? And I got that and I felt good. And then she had another little subscript that said, I know you was in my room or something for one weekend when she went to North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I had brought a date home from college. She
See?
said, I know you was in my room. My father told on me. Stepfather told on me. And she said, I'm only sending this to make sure you get good grades on your final, but I'm going to see you when you get here. I got there, she said, "Now, what was all that about? You got your own place and you're gonna be this, that, and the other." And she really actually didn't force me, but she made me think. And then I went ahead and got a job with UPS.
Yeah.
I had to get a small apartment by my college.
Right. See,
next year.
And that's all it is. I think parenting is just a matter of trying to get cats to, or get your kids to think on their own, because there are certain situations you know they're going to be in. You know what I'm saying? The generation that we have today, they don't like hearing certain things, and so they're in total denial about it sometimes. You know, and just because they don't like what you said, it could be a straight up fact, no lies in it.
Have your father
don't
ever
like
snitched on you though?
I see that still bothers you to this day. About your
fucked
father
up.
snitching on you.
I was like, he promised me he was gonna say nothing.
I think a father should snitch on you. I think the father
At
and
the time,
mother.
my father didn't live in the house no more.
Father
We
and
was
mother
they
need
was
to-
separated.
I don't care. You still what brings them the glue together. Yo, I'm gonna tell you right now.
I had
the
a
father
twin-
and mother need to be on one accord.
Hold up, let me put this in good context.
Telling one don't mean that you negate from telling the other.
I had a twin size bed in my room, and I had a quarter for a woman coming over.
A
I
what?
couldn't put her in no twin size bed.
You had a quarter, a thoroughbred. Okay.
She was a thoroughbred. I was bringing her home from school, and
Bring
she
her
was
where?
like,
What home? What home?
Huh?
What home you was bringing her
I
home
was
to?
bringing her home from college, right, to
To-
my home.
Your mom's already said.
My room.
You already told your mom.
Single bed. And that's why she lit me up. She sent me fruit to let me know she was going to light my ass up.
Yeah, for what you did.
I didn't
yeah.
see the fruit. I didn't understand the fruit. I did pretty good on my finals, but
You was trying to be impressive.
all I saw was that I know what you did in my room.
He was trying to be impressive to this quarter, right? And instead of you
And
focusing,
that was the
hold up.
first and last time.
Instead of you focusing on yourself, in order for you to afford a place for you in this quarter for the time being,
And that's
you
what
chose-
forced me to get my place.
you chose to go the route that you did.
And I went back to school, got an apartment for $230 a month. It was roach infested.
Yeah.
But I went through there with some military grade shit,
Uh-huh.
blew up every room, and no more roaches.
There you go.
I'm not playing
you
because
go.
not only did I blow it up, I went every crevice every day after that.
Mm-hmm.
It was so much stench from roach spray and extended roach spray. The roaches said, "Listen, let's go next door."
We can't take this no more.
Yeah, this shit is too much. And then I had a girl come over. I made a spaghetti because I thought I had the best spaghetti.
Oh, you ain't had no
spaghetti's easy to make.
roach show up.
I did.
For dinner.
I had one,
Yeah.
one roach,
Yeah, roach show
came
up.
across the floor and said, "Hey, my man."
Yo, what's up with that spaghetti? Yo, since you out here cooking and all that, what's up with that spaghetti?
To this day, I don't know if this girl went back and told her father that I had a roach, but her father did not like me.
He ain't
Did
like
not
you
like
after
me
that?
for her daughter, for his daughter. And eventually, we broke up.
All right,
That
well,
was some good stuff, though.
we're going to go ahead and we're going to end it on this one because that was pretty. No, we'll talk about that later.
I was a weak kid that became a strong kid because my mom let me know. Go ahead.
Yo, so again, I don't know what the fuck that was, but
Because we was talking
We-
about gentle parenting initially.
we
We was done with that?
Yeah,
We went
I mean,
we
well, we
went
was
off on a
gonna. We
tangent.
could talk of that later. Anyway, hey, I want to thank you all for coming through in order to check us out once again. What we're trying to do really is we're trying to get this to where we're not, doing like 2-3 hours because we can go if we had to. But
Yeah, he's long-winded.
we're gonna go ahead, and I'm just gonna say I want to thank you all for tuning in, checking us out. Hopefully that you still like the content that we got going on, and you might have your own opinions about this. And please, please, please go on ahead and put it in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Just make a comment. Just let us know. We'll get back to you, and let us know. Hey, do you agree? Or maybe you might have something else, or maybe you might say, hey, you know what? You guys didn't really touch on this. when it came down to that particular topic. I wish you guys would have mentioned more about this particular situation or something like that. It's only going to help us grow. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let us
if you
know.
have tips, don't
Right.
be afraid to express them.
Right.
Because we're learning as you're learning, and
Right.
and we can grow together.
And that's one thing we could always say about parenting. And it's not like everybody got all the answers. You don't know until you in the situation. You just do the best that you can do when it come down to kids. They are going to grow up and they're going to go their own way. And that's the bottom line, period. You know what I'm saying? But you got parents that feel like, oh, where did I go wrong? I'd be like, you didn't go wrong. You did the best that you could do at the time and whatnot. And they chose to go on ahead and do what they want to do anyway.
Right.
All right? So keep your head up. Above all means, keep your head up, for real. So all I'm going to say is like, yo, just put it in the comments. Check us out. We're going to be coming at y'all.
A lot more frequent. We're gonna come down to Ray's studio, and we're gonna give you a whole bunch of fire going forward.
Know what I mean? So this ends another episode of The Good, The Bad, and The Game.
The game.